All right, so then where are we? 260 is where we're going to start for tonight. Now, remember that go into Classroom and under the math section, these same lessons are in there, so they're in the PDF document, so you can pull those down, and it kind of step by step walks you through how to do a lot of these. Plus, there's a bunch of other different questions like what you guys just did yesterday on these. So those lessons are in there for all 48 that we're going to do. So go in there and pull those up, okay? Plus the links for all the math videos themselves. So like we're talking ratios and proportions tonight. There are there's two videos in there that walk you through how to understand and be able to calculate ratios, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's begin with ratios then. So, like it says there, ratio has two terms, and you can either write it in words, you can write it with a colon, or you can write it as a fraction. So, the fraction stuff we've been doing is a ratio. So it's a 1 to 4 ratio, a 2 to 5, a 7 to 10, whatever that ratio may be. Okay. So,
Okay.
like it shows you there in the example, you can write it with 4, the word 2, and the number 1, or 4 with a colon and 1, or 4 over 1, however you want to do it. Really, 4 over 1 in that form is probably what we're going to see the most. You are going to see it in different formats, with the word 2 or with the colon, okay? But what it does is shows you this relationship of how, say, 4 to 1 and 2 to 1 and whatever it might be, okay? Now, you got to remember when we start figuring out these problems here, you're going to see these, like that example number 2 there, right, where we're talking credit card sales over cash sales. So the way this guy's store figures that out is he has 15 credit card sales and 25 cash sales. So, okay, that's a good ratio, but you have to remember, like I was talking yesterday, yesterday, when we're doing fractions and you have that answer where you're like, okay, what's the first question I got to ask myself? Can I reduce that fraction? So 15 over 25, absolutely you can reduce that. So that might be well and good for an answer, but it's not the correct one, okay? So you want to make sure that you reduce that answer. Does that make sense, you guys?
So you don't. Yes. But you won't make these into mixed numbers.
No, they shouldn't be. And if you get one that is, turn it into a fraction.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I've been going through here and I haven't seen one yet.
Well, so even if the top one is bigger than the bottom one, keep it that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because the next page, the first one is going to be like that.
That's what I thought. That's
Yep.
what I was looking at. I wasn't sure.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, so remember, example 2, 15 over 25, we have to reduce that, okay? Because that answer, it may be accurate to what the credit card sales are versus cash, but is not correct as far as for that fraction, okay? So you have to reduce that. So 5 is the number that I'm going to use to reduce it. So just figure out how many times 5 goes into the 15 and goes into the 25, and there's your answer, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so look at a little bit farther down, example 3, where it talks about this football team. So it wants to know what's the ratio of games won to games played. So it talks about how this team won 12 games and they lost 8 games. And there were no tied games. Okay. Okay, so like I've been saying from the beginning, when you get these word problems, read it, and read it again. And ask yourself, what are they trying to figure out in this question? Because this one doesn't jump at you the way that it actually is going to set up, okay? So it tells me that this team won 12 games and they lost 8 games. Okay, pretty good record. But if you look down, the way that this one wants it is you have to figure out total games. So that instead of 12 over 8, which you would normally think, okay, because that's the 2 pieces of information that are given to me, this one wants to know games won versus games played. So what is the ratio of games won to games played? So we know they won 12 because that tells us right there in that first sentence. But games played, that tells the total number of games that this team had. So instead of 12 over 8, which would kind of jump at you that would be the ratio, it's actually going to be 12 over 20.
Right.
So, okay, 12 over 20, that's right, but that's not the correct answer. So that's not the ratio that of games played versus games won. That was my wife. Thanks.
Sorry, don't mind me.
Yeah, so games won, ratio of games won to games played, okay? So 12 over 20, we know we can reduce that number, correct? So they're both even, so your best bet is just start with 2 and start bringing that thing down, okay? Or start reducing it.
Okay.
So, and you can't reduce 3/5.
Correct, because, yeah, they can't go any lower. The 3 can't go into the 5. You can't really do anything with that at all. So 3 over 5 or 325 is your correct answer.
Okay.
All right, so let us look at the next page with the practice 1.1, okay?
It's saying the possible workers.
So this guy makes 24 sales in 6 hours, so what's his ratio of sales to hours? Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. So 24 over 6,
Do you reduce that?
can you?
Yes.
Well, that's
but
Then-
so are you?
Then absolutely reduce it. If you can, absolutely do it.
It's an over, it's a,
Would it be 4 over 1?
Yes. What'd you say, Faith?
it's a improper fraction, right?
Right.
So we would have to divide that.
No, what you want to do is reduce it. Yeah, because this one is, we're just dealing with a ratio here, okay? So unlike what we were doing with yesterday when we had that, say, 1 and 5/8 kind of answer. Don't worry about that here, okay? That doesn't apply here. I'm just worrying about my ratio. So the ratio of sales to hours is 24 to 6. So I can reduce that. So 6 is the number I'm going to use to reduce it. So it becomes a 4 to 1 ratio. So 4 sales per hour.
Okay. Okay, so
Go. Go.
problem.
Okay, so does that make sense for number 1?
Yeah, but how would you? So you would put. So that would be 1. I got it.
Okay, you good on that one? Okay, so number 2. So this one wants to know what this lady's take-home pay. It's $1,500 a month. If she spends $250 on food, what is the ratio of food cost to take-home money?
Okay.
250 over 1,500.
Which gives me what?
6 over 1.
Okay. Or
Can you just put 6?
you could, but your answer's wrong.
What?
Yep.